Ukrainian forces used cluster munitions to force Russian troops out of a village. In what seems to be the Ukrainians giving the Russians a taste of their own medicine, the Ukrainian Armed Forces reportedly fired cluster munition rockets at Russian troops to force them out of a village in Husarivka, Ukraine, according to the New York Times. Journalists from the New York Times uncovered what remained of a cluster munition rocket near Yurii Doroshenko's home in Husarivka, some 60 miles south of Kharkiv. Nobody had died from the particular cluster munition they discovered. However, the publication later determined that 2 people were killed from the usage of the munition in other portions of the village, as Ukrainian forces shelled the village to target Russian troops. The cluster munition was banned from use in wars during the 2007 to 2008 Oslo process that created the 2010 Convention on Cluster Munitions. The convention stipulated that all cluster munitions must be destroyed within 10 years and that assistance be provided to the victims of these weapons. 110 state parties and 13 countries have signed the agreement, including 24 NATO members and allies. Note that the US, Russia, and Ukraine did not sign the agreement. The US has also used cluster munitions in the past, specifically during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003 and an attack on Yemen in December of 2009. Other instances include operations in Afghanistan, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Iraq, Laos, and Lebanon. Generally, these weapons are not supposed to be used as anti-personnel weapons. They were developed originally to attack material and equipment like aircraft, trucks, depots and ammunition dumps. While the US has been diligent in using these weapons as intended and within the confines of international rules governing their use, Russia has repeatedly used cluster munitions in Ukraine and civilian areas. A UN report states that they have utilized cluster munitions at least 24 times in populated areas of Ukraine. Reports that the Russians shelled the densely populated city of Mykolaiv early in March for 3 separate days sparked the outrage of the international populace, stating that the munition could kill innocent civilians. An attack on March 13 killed 9 civilians who were reportedly in line at an ATM. The munitions used in these attacks were reportedly 9 M27K series Uragan cluster munition rockets. Possibly as an act of retribution, the Ukrainians also fired cluster munitions on their occupiers to give the Russians a taste of their own medicine. These cluster munitions were identified as 220mm Uragan artillery rockets fired sometime between March 6 and March 7, similar to those that the Russians have been using on Ukraine. This is actually permissible under the rule of reprisal, which permits a belligerent to respond in kind to the use of illegal weapons by the other side in a conflict. Cluster munitions like the Russian 9N235 are rockets with as many as 72 submunitions inside the rocket frame. The rocket ejects the bomblets above the ground and they spread out to strike the ground before exploding. The bomblets themselves can have sized fragmentation to attack personnel and unprotected targets or larger fragments to attack light armored vehicles like APCs, trucks and other vehicles or aircraft. So guys, we have come to an end of this news session. Thanks for watching and please do well to like and subscribe for more updates. Until next time, goodbye for now.